Network is brought to you by our sponsors. Visit and let them know you heard about them here on the Awakened Radio Network. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out RifeEnergyMedicine.com. That is Rife spelled R-I-F-E. RifeEnergyMedicine.com for a new way to approach many of your health problems. RifeEnergyMedicine.com. Are you looking for a fun and easy and productive way to promote and advertise your personally owned business? If so, the Awakened Radio Network just might have the solution for you. Visit awakenedradio.net, look up under our products and services tab, or add Awakened Radio to your Skype contact and send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message. Or you can add DonnaDevane@gmail.com to your email contacts and send Donna an email letting her know that you would like to set a time to go over how to advertise your business in a way that makes getting sales easy without the struggle and a whole lot of fun. Do you have a message? Something that just burns within you that you couldn't stop talking about even if someone offered to pay you to? Well, you just might be the type of host that we're looking for here on the Awakened Radio Network. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype contacts or send Donna Devane, the station owner, a message, DonnaDevane@gmail.com. And let's set up a time to talk and see if you and Awakened Radio Network are on the same consciousness wavelength. We might can work together and provide a win-win where your message goes out on our airwaves, reaching our global listeners, bringing fun, self-growth, and a whole lot of excitement to both your life and the Awakened Radio family.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Carnilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Welcome everyone. Yes, this is Evolutionary Women Radio, and this is the place where we make a difference in the world. Our feminine, authentic power. And if you don't know what that is, then you will be learning it if you listen in every week, because that is all we're talking about here. It comes in many flavors and expressions. And the most important thing about it is that you find your specific, unique flavor of that power, that feminine power. The feminine power that I'm talking about is very different than what we're used to in the male-dominated world, the patriarchy, where the male power has taken over for a long time, suppressing the feminine power, the female power. And not that we're going to get into a battle about which power is the strongest, which can overpower the other. That would be more of the old patriarchy, the old paradigm, the old male-dominated energy. And always, I want to remind you that I'm not talking about necessarily just gender-based power. It's deeper than that. It is the principle, the female and the male principle that lives in all of us. Both of them are in all of us inside. And we have been living in a male-dominated world where the female power has been suppressed, And we are actually all guilty of that by suppressing the feminine in ourselves first. So we cannot storm out there and change that. We need to gently rest back inside and embrace that. Get familiar with it. Start listening to it and trusting it. And making ourselves open portals for this feminine energy, this female energy and power to come forth. And it can only happen when we allow that, when we are the ones who open the door or the portal for that to come forth. So we're not coming from a place where we are going to go into the world with, swords and battles and whatever to conquer the male energy. All we do when we do that is bringing more of what we actually don't want. We bring something that has come to completion, and it is really up to us to not feed that old energy anymore that is dying, that has basically come to the end. The fact that we're not fully aware of that, that's another story, but many, many people are aware of that, and that's why we like to share that, so that it kind of gives us permission to unhook from the old paradigm, the patriarchy, the male dominant energy, that we can gently start unhooking from that. We can gently say no to that. Sometimes it's not so gently. There is actually a phase where we have to be very firm in saying no. Really, it's a firmness that we declare inside of ourselves first, and in that we may need to declare it firmly in the world, because the energy is still there, but it doesn't have the fuel that it used to have. It is slowly dying, but let's not mistake this. It is still there. It is still running rampant, and it is doing everything it can to stay alive. The only problem with it is, and it's not a real problem for us, it's a problem for it, is that the plug has been pulled. So the fuel that it used to get from doing whatever it was doing, and I'm talking about this old paradigm energy, I actually like to see it as an impersonal energy that is not really personal except when we make it so. So this impersonal patriarchy, this impersonal old paradigm energy is not just ready to fully surrender, even though the plug has been pulled. It may just pretend that it hasn't and make itself look even more scary and powerful and intimidating. So we have to be aware that we're still dealing with this energy in the world and inside of ourselves. It's not two different things. It is really the same. And the more we realize that, the more we become aware that we are that new energy. We are that new paradigm. Our attention may still be on the old paradigm, but that doesn't make it so. That doesn't make it who we are. So the more we can tune into ourselves and start listening to ourselves deeply, we will start realizing that this new paradigm energy is who we are. It's already who we are. It's, we can say it's as if there is a baby, an infant that is being born, that is growing inside of our psyche, inside of our being. And the bigger it gets, the more we realize that we are that. But for a lot of us, it's still fairly small. So we are still identified with the old energy. So it's just a matter of keep shifting back to this newness that is wanting to take birth as us. We can also say through us. It's really the same, and it's not so much what words I use. It's more pointing towards your experience of it. Then the words are irrelevant. Then you'll realize that it doesn't matter if I say it's born as me or through me or to me. It's the same thing. It's because you're becoming one with that the more you go there. So, last week we talked about listening, and we're going to talk more about that today. It's really inseparable from what I'm presenting here, what I'm sharing with you, what I'm experiencing in my life. It's inseparable. Of course, I just always want to invite you to connect here on the radio show with me. You can always go to the live chat room here on Awaken Radio. It's awakenradio.net/live chat room. Feel free to introduce yourself, say hello, chat with the other people in there. Just give yourself permission to step out of your box a little bit, maybe hiding. There's a little music there. So somebody maybe played some music here and saying hello. So I want to say hello back, and please come and join us here. You're always welcome to call in if you have any questions or insights or anything you would like to share that relates to what we're talking about. And that number is 334-649-7204. I'd love to hear from you. I love it when people call in. It makes it so much more alive. And I really love to hear how this message resonates with you. And if there's any kind of support you need around it, if you have any questions, or just plain a pure sharing of what your experience is, sometimes you may have some beautiful insights that are really worthwhile sharing. Because what you experience is the same that we all experience. What I experience and share here is the same that you experience, even though you may not be sharing it. You know, you may have something inside of you that goes, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I have that too. And that's where the resonance, starts growing. More and more are realizing the truth of what we're sharing here. So it's not a matter of I know something that you don't know. I'm basically just sharing my experience with you so you can feel free and confident in doing the same, whether it's on a radio show or just with your friends or in the chat room. It doesn't matter. You're just welcome to share it all here. So let's talk some more about this whole subject of listening. Last week, I would say, are you a good listener? That was kind of the topic. And today we can say, I would like to continue on that, where I'm going to say, who or what are you listening to? And we also touched in on that last week. Most of us are listening to our mind, to the thoughts that run through our heads, or we listen to what other people are saying. And by doing that, we're ignoring and suppressing what our body and what our heart is communicating. You probably know that the heart is actually an extension of the mind. There is a wisdom center in the heart that research is discovering that it is all connected. It's kind of part of our brain. I may use the wrong words right now, but just to make sure that you understand that the heart is not just some kind of a flimsy feeling thing that changes its mind and it's all based on emotional feelings and whatever. It's actually a deep seed of wisdom that has much deeper wisdom in there than the mind can ever have. The heart is the wisdom center of our body, of our being. It's the place where we can go to learn, to get guidance, to know what is right in the moment, what is the right thing to do in this situation. That is the place we go. That is the place we are learning to go. And for most of us, unfortunately, because that's part of the old paradigm, we go to the mind, we go to our thoughts, and then we try to figure it out by comparing thoughts and listening to what other people say. And I'm not saying that we should completely eliminate that, because there is a sense of practicality in there that's very helpful. But the mind and the thoughts are kind of the servants for the heart. They're the ones who can execute it through practical means and doing things that the heart doesn't do that same way. It's like it's two different functions. And most of us have gotten it backwards or totally eliminated the heart. And I want to keep reminding us that it is in the heart. The wisdom resides in our heart. It's just a matter of learning to listen to it again. And I include the body in a big way, specifically for women, because we are so in tune with our bodies. Our bodies is what's guiding us. And even though it's the same for men, but women have been much more naturally connected to our bodies for so long, and we still are. But I think the only thing is that we have not taken the time to really take it seriously, because in the world that we live in, the feminine has not been taken seriously. And because of that, we have done the same inside of ourselves. So you can see the world is a reflection of what we're doing to ourselves. And we can probably flip it around and say what we're doing ourselves is a reflection of the outer world. It all has an impact both ways. But now it really is up to us to put our attention into our bodies, into our heart, into our wisdom center, and start making that the headquarters. That's where we go when we need to know what's next, when we need to know what's right, what's not right, if it's a yes or if it is a no. That is the place we go, and that's something we're all learning. I have been on this path for many, many years, and I wrote a book, this is about 6 years ago, I can't remember, called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself. And if you would like to know more about that, you can go to my website, which is LillaRose.com, LillaRose.com, and you can just go to the product tab and find out what's available there. But the reason I'm mentioning this book is that is all about listening. I'm trained as a Hakomi practitioner and certified also, and that is where I learned my listening. Before I started the training in 1999, I was not a good listener to myself or to others. I started realizing it was kind of the same, because I wasn't listening to myself, what mattered to me. I wasn't really listening to what other people said, because I had this need inside to be heard. And we talked about that last week. And if you want to listen to that broadcast, you can go to the archives here, and soon I will have it downloaded also on my website, where I have almost all the broadcasts are downloaded there. So if you want to re-listen to some of the topics, you can always go there. So maybe a good question is, when we talk about listening, a good question is, how do you listen to yourself or to your heart, to your own wisdom, to your own body? When you live in a very busy and noisy world, how do you do that? How do you listen to yourself when everybody around you wants you to listen to them wants you to do what they say, right? Society is set up in a way where you have to follow the rules. You have to do it this way and this way and this way. And you have to do this. You have to get this vaccine. You have to do that thing. You have to pay this. You have to, all the things we have to do that are probably not in resonance with what our body knows. And because we have been so focused on the outside, we really have lost touch with our own inner compass, with our own inner wisdom. And it's a process to get back to that. It's not something you do overnight. It's something that you have to be vigilant and consistent, and it's something you really need to spend time with every single day so that you can learn what it is inside of you that's really true for you. So I want to talk some more about how to do that a little later. I actually would like to lead you into a little meditation, but I want to do that after the break so we have enough time. So just to prepare you that after the break, sometime after the break, I would like to lead you into a little meditation about how to listen to yourself. And so if you are driving, of course, that's probably not a good time to do it. Then you can always come back and listen later. But if you're multitasking right now, just prepare yourself to maybe in 15 minutes or so that you can sit down and follow this. Because until we really learn to quiet down inside and pay attention to what truly matters for us, we're going to keep doing the same thing, and that same thing is usually things that don't work for us, that don't make us happy, that don't bring us the fulfillment and the joy that we're longing for. But we're so wrapped up in these habits and patterns, and it takes a lot to break these patterns. They are very, very deeply ingrained. So it takes something. It really takes something. It's not just a quick fix. I know there are many people out there, teachers, coaches, they say, just come here, and we can fix it in one session, or, in 30 seconds you can be free from this thing. It sure, hey, honestly, I wish that were true. I have fallen for some of those things like, oh my God, you can really do that? And you might feel some good relief for a while. You might really notice something shifting because you have some deep insights. That could happen, and it does happen. I'm not saying that's not true. But in order to fully live that and embody it, trust me, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some dedication from you to really, really want that and to bring it into all the areas in your life where you have not been living it, where you have been going away from yourself. And these patterns, they're so ingrained inside of us and actually in the whole collective psyche, so that even though that you may be starting to live it, when you start moving into your life outside your home, you will run into almost everybody who does the opposite. So it takes a lot of confidence to stay grounded in yourself in the face of opposition from maybe everybody else around you. That's why it's great to get the experience, and I think it's very important to get these experiences that we sometimes can get in one session. I certainly see it happen here in the work that I do consistently, the deep insights, the deep transformation. But then it's a matter of implementing it in your life all the time and make that a priority. It has to be a priority. If we don't want to be fully free, if we only want to be free like 90%, the last 10% are going to get the best of us because that is where we are used to focusing. So even though we wanted 90% the freedom, I doubt it that it's going to happen until we really want it 100%. Then we're not willing to budge or compromise anymore. And it does take that. It takes that kind of vigilance and accountability to oneself. It's really making that choice. And specifically as women, we are so conditioned to listen to others and leave ourselves behind. That is almost, well, it's in the psyche, right? It's in the psyche because the female has been ignored, has been suppressed. And if we are in a female body, it's even more so because the male energy is often undermining us and not taking us seriously. And that's what we do to ourselves. So here is an opportunity to just see how you're doing that and give yourself permission to do it differently. And if you are standing all on your own in this, if you feel pretty alone in this in your life, it is very, very helpful. It's actually essential to be around other women so you can support each other in staying true to what is true for you. So it's not just something you need to do on your own. I really think that we are being moved into a whole new way of being here, where we are not living on these little isolated islands anymore, where we are doing this all together. And it's powerful when you do it. If you already are involved in some kind of a group, a women's group, or maybe not just women's group, maybe a mixed gender group, you will know the power of having other people witness you in your truth, in your power, and have it be celebrated, instead of just doing it on your own in your own living room or in your own bedroom, and then when you walk out, you don't know if people really support you in that, and then it's kind of, you can start hiding that light under a bushel again instead of letting it shine bright. So the more people really who celebrate you and support you in coming forward and standing in your truth and stepping into your power and letting your light shine, the more people that support you, the easier it's going to get. And not just easier, it's a lot more fun. It's actually inspiring, and it kind of invokes something to, that you want to do it even more. So if you were 100% committed, maybe you'll be 110% committed, where it's just like, it becomes easier and easier. But it's so important to be supported in that. And if you don't have anybody to support you, you can always find some, whether it's a coach, a teacher, a practitioner, a therapist, or whatever, who can support you so that you get enough stamina inside so you can start going out and live it more. But for most of us, we sure need some support and really find ourselves. So we don't have to go out there with a hardness, where there's a sense of you have to protect yourself all the time. We want to be able to come out in the world from a soft, open, and vulnerable place where we feel okay about being ourselves, even if not everybody agrees with that. Or where we are okay sharing our truth, our messages, our wisdom, even though we may have people say, oh, please, or oh, come on, that you can hold that in yourself without having to either go back and hide or set up a very strong boundary, it's like, hey, I can do this. Because then you're still in that harsh, contracted, old paradigm energy. And my friends, it's time to move out of that. It's time to move into the softness, the connectedness, the intimacy with ourselves, with each other, so we can live more in a sense of oneness, where it's not me against you, where it's all of us together. So we'll have a little meditation shortly, and right now it looks like we're going to go on a short break. So please prepare yourself for a meditation, and I will be looking forward to continue this after the break.
You are listening to the Awakened Radio Network at awakenedradio.net. Join us on the go through the free application at tunein.com. You asked for it. We've supplied it. Awakened Radio is about change, different, making it new. And we're giving you an opportunity to co-create with us. We've heard you over the years, all of us, begging for, yearning for a new way for media, new way for sales, new way to create our lives, a way to cooperate with one another. Well, Awakened Radio has set it up for you, and you are invited to be part, either by sponsoring a show, advertising with us, hosting your own broadcast, sharing our links, or giving something back financially. We have donate buttons throughout our website at awakenedradio.net. Your contributions really are what have brought us this far and what will help us financially to move into new expansions. Thank you so much for making it real, for putting your money where your mouth is, for co-creating with us. We talk a lot about, I won't change, I won't change. Well, this is your opportunity to create some. If you like what we're doing, only breaking every 30 minutes. If you like what we're doing, not covering, the interest of big business, then pitch in, support us, co-create with us. Everybody can donate $1, $5, $10. Any amount is always appreciated. Thank you so much for your love and support of the Awakened Radio Network. Join us on our website, awakenedradio.net.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Yes, and welcome back, my friends, to Evolutionary Women Radio. This is Pernilla Little Rose, your host, and we are talking about listening again today, how to listen, and who or what are you listening to. We are going to do a little meditation in just a moment, and I'll just explain to you how I would like to do that today. Because most of our attention is not on our heart, on our wisdom, on our body, as in what it's trying to communicate to us, but it's on other things that we often don't even know about because we're so habituated to going there, right, to letting our attention rest in something else but our heart and our longing and our wisdom and our vision. We're so conditioned to put our attention on something else, and we don't even know we're doing it. We're just spinning around, going nowhere, but we are not really aware that we're doing it. It's just so automatic and habitual that we just do it. You know, how many times have you maybe gone to wash your hands or brush your teeth, or you're driving the car and you don't even know what you're doing, right? You don't even know you did it. And that's how it is with this thinking. It's so habitual that we don't even know it. And because we don't know it, well, we're not going to change it. And that's why one of the first things we really need to do is bring awareness to what is going on with us. We need to shine some light on the unconscious patterns so that we can see it and experience it, become aware of it then, and not before. But once we are aware of it, then we can start making new choices. So we want to just bring a little attention to see where you're focused, what you're focusing on that you were not even aware of. And I also just want to mention that there's often a confusion. When I teach meditation or work with my clients, there's often a confusion about when to actually say no to something in yourself and when you really need to embrace it and listen to it. And they're both really essential. It's not like one is right and one is wrong. It's a matter of learning when you need to listen to something inside of yourself that is important that you have been ignoring. When you need to really feel into some parts of yourself that need your attention and it's really important. It's not something you can just ignore and say no to. That is usually when you go into the feelings, the parts inside that feel, that are connected to feelings and emotions that have been ignored. But the thing is, they're not going to go away. They're going to stay there until they are being loved and embraced back into oneness with you. So the parts that I want to talk about that you need to start to listen to are the parts that you have been ignoring about yourself in your own unfolding into who you truly are. So it's almost like you have stunned or stopped part of your natural evolution in becoming you that's been truncated because it was not okay to be you. So that's the part that's really important to start listening to and feeling into. So that was the one part where I want to say, yes, do not ignore that anymore. You have been ignoring that. You need to start embracing that. And that is your own being, your heart, your feelings, your naturalness. That needs to be embraced. And that's where a lot of change can happen when you start moving in the direction of how it moves in you naturally and organically. So now we're going to go over to the other side. The part that I want to say, this is what you can say no to. And many times we need to say no to that because that is what we have been listening to unconsciously. And because we have been doing that, we have been ignoring the other side, which is our wisdom, our feelings, our body, our heart, our vision, our dream, right? That's kind of where we have created duality by leaving one part of us behind and listening to something else that is not our truth. That's where we listen to the mind, to what other people say, to what, the general thing is that people do, which may be completely the opposite of what's true for you. So when I talk about learning to say no, then I'm talking about the mind and the thoughts that are not in your best interest. It can be just a familiar thought pattern that you have been engaging in forever, and it is not in your best interest. It is not supporting you in becoming whole and healed and fulfilled and happy. It's many times these thoughts are actually undermining you and limiting you into coming into your fullness. Those are the thoughts that you not only have permission to say no to, but it will serve you well to cut the cord. And again, they're not just going to give up. A lot of these thoughts are connected to the old paradigm. And the old paradigm is built on lack, limitation, suppression, feeling separate, not good enough, isolation, all these things, and those are the thoughts that we all have been engaging in. I can certainly recognize them. And I'm getting better and better to say no to them and yes to what's true for me. So that's the distinction between saying yes and start listening to your own truth and no to what you know is not good or right for you. Now, the challenge may be learning the difference. And that can only happen through time and practice and an absolute dedication to wanting to know what is your deepest truth and how can you live in full alignment with yourself. So I hope that's clear, and you're welcome to either chat in here or maybe call in after the meditation if there's more time. And if there isn't more time, please contact me. You can go to my website, LillaRose.com, LillaRose.com, and ask me questions or set up a time for a free 30-minute discovery session with me so we can explore it a little bit and see what it is that you need, what kind of support you need, because we all need that. So here, I'm going to give you a taste today so you can start playing around with it yourself. Okay? So why don't you make yourself comfortable? And I hope you're not driving. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. If you are just sitting at home somewhere comfortable, feel free to close your eyes and just prepare yourself and open yourself up to listen to you, to learn about you, and to learn about what your specific flavor of thought pattern is and how you may be deflecting your deepest truth. So it's just a matter of we're just going to explore it a little bit now. So we're going to always start with the breath. The breath is an anchor. It's always there, and we can always go back to it. So why don't you just start taking some nice deep breaths in and out. And I really want to use the breath today to actually start recognizing some things about yourself. So the breath is very essential right now. It always is, but I really want to use that as a focus point right now. So I want to invite you to just focus on your breath for a moment. And what makes it easier is to, when you follow your breath into your belly, you'll notice that your belly rises when you take an in-breath. So when you follow your in-breath, it brings you into your body. And if you focus on your belly rising on your in-breath and falling on your out-breath, then you are focusing on your body. And it kind of helps you to come out of your head, out of your thinking mind, into your body. So let's just take a minute or so where you are just going to focus on your breathing. Breathing in, feeling the belly rise, and breathing out, feeling the belly fall or drop. And you may have your own pattern here, so just really bring your attention only to your breath. And even though it's just for a few minutes we're going to do this, it's okay just to leave all the other things behind. It will be safe. Nothing bad will happen if you just focus on your breath right now. Breathing in and breathing out. Belly rising. Feel the belly rise on your in-breath. And feel your belly fall on the out-breath. And just notice what it's like to just have permission to focus on one thing, the in and the out breath, and how your body is involved in that. You see, it's the same thing. The in-breath and the belly rising is one thing. And the same on the out-breath. Breathing in and breathing out. So now I want to ask you to notice what it is like for you to just focus on your in and out breath. Is it easy? And if it is easy, you may be an experienced meditator. You probably notice that your nervous system starts to calm down and everything starts settling when you just focus on one thing. But if you are like most people, you might notice that your mind or your body feelings keep pulling your attention away from the breath. And we're not going to make that wrong or even try to change it. We're actually going to use that as an opportunity to learn something about yourself, which is going to be very important. So keep coming back to your breath in your body, noticing the in-breath, belly rising, and out-breath, belly falling. And as you do that, just notice if your attention wants you to go somewhere else instead. You might notice that you keep thinking about something all the time, that your attention goes away from the breath and to a thought, or maybe several thoughts. Or you may notice that your attention goes to some feeling or emotion that you're experiencing in your body. That it is hard to stay focused on the breathing because there's this other thing that keeps pulling you away. So just let yourself be pulled away if this is actually happening to you right now. Just let yourself be pulled away. And then I want to ask you to really notice, what is it that your attention goes to instead? What are these thoughts that you keep engaging in? Or what are these feelings that keep bringing you this feeling, this emotion, this sensation in your body? And maybe they're both at the same time or alternating. So again, there's no right or wrong way to any of this. There is only bringing awareness to what's happening already. So you just notice that. Awareness is the first essential step for you to take to start realizing what's going on in your mind, your body, your psyche, that you didn't even know consciously, that was just happening. So just notice what it is for you. Is it the same thoughts? Is it the past? The future? Is it worry about certain issues? Is it the to-do list that keeps showing up? Is it your children? Your spouse? Your work? Just notice it, okay? Just notice it. Make a note of it and just become aware where a lot of your attention goes to. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just what's been happening unconsciously. And now you can start making it a little more conscious. And if it's the same feeling, it might be a feeling of heaviness, sadness, fear, anger, whatever it is, and many times the feelings, of course, have thoughts that go with them. So we're just noticing right now what is happening when you are making the choice to just focus on your breathing and then see what happens instead. Unless you are really with the breath, I really congratulate you. It's beautiful, and I just say enjoy it. But if your attention keeps going away to other areas, just notice them gently and kindly. What is it? What is it? What is it that your attention wants to focus on more than on your breath? What is important about these thoughts or these feelings? So you can just make a note, an internal note about what you're noticing. You might notice that there is a specific theme that your thoughts spin around in all the time. Right? Let's say if it's your to-do list. Just notice that there is a tendency to keep thinking about all the things you need to do. Or if there's a feeling that keeps surfacing when you try to focus on your in and out breath, you just notice, what is this feeling? And what can happen then if we had more time, or if we were in a private session together, or in a class together? This would be a place where you can start noticing, for instance, the thoughts, are they actually supporting me? Is it just bringing this to-do list to my attention all the time, but it really goes nowhere? It's not supporting me. It's not helping me living the life that I really want. Is this really where I want to focus my attention now that I'm more conscious of it? And again, you can just start noticing. We're not going to be able to go into some great depth around it here in this little mini meditation, but certainly you can become aware and see, wow, that's interesting. I keep thinking about the same thing all the time. That's where my mind wants to go all the time. And just noticing that. And then see what would happen if you just said no to those thoughts for a moment and just focused on your breath. That might bring up some other things. Could be fear, could be anxiety, could be sadness, who knows what. There's usually something deeper than just that. And then on the other side, if it's a feeling that keeps coming up, those are the ones I'm talking about that we need to learn to listen to deeply. Because there is something inside of you that needs your attention. And maybe there's something not right in your relationship with somebody or at your work. Maybe you have been compromising something about yourself that causes disturbance in you. And this disturbance is not going to go away. And that's actually a good thing, because it has something to let you know that's important for you to be able to step in to your own self. So here we have both sides of this. And just for now, just really notice what it is for you. And because we're coming closer to the top of the hour, I don't want to just stop it abruptly. So let's just take a few deep breaths inside. And make a note of what you're seeing. Do it from a place of kindness, and support for yourself so you can start becoming more conscious of what you were previously unconscious about. So take a few breaths, allowing those breaths to help you transition back into your normal life. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes again. And if it feels right for you, you can just make a note. Maybe you have a little piece of paper and just make a note so you can really make it more and more conscious. So this is the beginning. This is the piece about awareness, becoming aware of what we are unaware of what we are unconscious of, that needs to be brought to the light first. In order to listen, in order to listen more deeply, you need to know what you're listening to and what needs your attention. And not only what you're listening to, but how are you listening to it? How are you listening to the to-do list that keeps presenting itself and it makes you stressed and nervous and upset or whatever? Or are you listening to a deeper part of yourself as a feeling that really needs more of your attention, but you're ignoring it, and instead you go to the to-do list? So it's that flipping back and forth that keeps us in a lot of stress because we're not honoring what is really true for us. Maybe a to-do list is not bringing you the ultimate happiness you might be hoping for. It might just give you stress. And so it's just really becoming aware of it now. And of course, if we had more time, we could go more in depth with that, but that's hard to do that on a radio show. You're always welcome to connect with me and explore that deeper. You can do that on my website, which is lilarose.com, and I would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, I would just invite you to take this as a very important first step for you to become aware of where you are locating your attention most of the time, and if that's really helping you become liberated and more free and living the life that you long for. So take this seriously, what you found. It's a very important step. And it's one that I love to share with you, knowing how important it has been for myself and my clients and my students. And it's an ongoing practice that I live with all the time. Because then I can always listen deeper and deeper and deeper and really take myself seriously and see when I leave myself, in order to follow a thought or what somebody else says. Or when I can really trust my deepest truth, my deepest heart, my deepest wisdom, and start living in alignment and in oneness with that. So that's, of course, my invitation to all of you to start living in alignment and bringing awareness to where we are not in alignment and starting to listen deeper to what will bring us into alignment and in oneness with ourselves. Because that's where our happiness, our purpose, and our deepest fulfillment can only come from, ever, ever, ever. That's why this really is an important piece if we want more freedom, more openness, more connection in our lives with ourselves and with others, and really learning to listen deeply. And it all starts with ourselves. My friends, the time is already up. That went so fast today. It's been always wonderful. It's always wonderful to be with you, and it sure was lovely today sharing this with you. Please go to my website and check out if there's anything that resonates with you that you want to explore a little further. And I look forward to being here with you again next week. I wish you a beautiful week. Until then, much love. Bye-bye.
Dividing life, we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight in life. We're